Following the Lucasfilm acquisition in 2012, Disney has started making so much Star Wars content. I mean, a crazy amount of Star Wars content. And it looks like they're going to keep doing this. They're just going to keep milking this franchise dry. And we've just got a new show in Disney+, The Acolyte. And I've seen the first episode. It's complete garbage. Let me explain. Hi all, I'm the Grinning Critic and I love talking about movies and TV shows with a grin on my face. Unfortunately, the first episode of The Acolyte was complete garbage, so I have to talk about the show with a frown on my face. But since I am the Grinning Critic, I should talk about the things in The Acolyte that actually are good, because there are some positives to this show. There's some really cool, interesting, weird creatures that you see in the show in a bar, and there's one in a prison. The designs are really impressive. Look, I'm a sucker for weird creatures in Star Wars, and that's a huge reason why I love this universe so much. There's also some impressive enough looking sets. But other than that, I don't really have anything nice to say about The Acolyte. I'm getting into full spoiler territory here, that's your warning. This show suffers from extremely horrible storytelling. The protagonist, Osha, is horribly written. Now there's a common phrase in storytelling called show don't tell, and this episode is a perfect example of why this phrase exists. When you are writing a character, you need to show their past, show the challenges they faced, show how they built character, so that the audience will be able to understand and connect with your character. Instead, this episode just starts with Osha fighting this woman in a bar who she kills after 5 seconds very easily, which is kind of weird. And you only learn somewhat about her past through this dialogue that her teacher in Coruscant tells someone. Now after Osha fights Carrie-Anne Moss's character, who she kills, she is then sentenced to prison. And then she goes to this prison ship, which is driven by droids, and the prisoners just so easily escape from the ship, which makes no sense whatsoever. How do these prisoners just escape that easily? Surely you'd have better security for these bad prisoners. This is probably going to be a massively hot take. Coruscant is probably my least favourite planet in all of Star Wars, from a visual design perspective at least. Coruscant looks so lifeless and dull. Lifeless in the Star Wars prequel trilogy, and it still looks so incredibly lifeless here. And on Coruscant, as well as meeting the Jedi teacher, we also meet this character that looked like they walked off the set of a Joel Schumacher Batman movie, and onto the set of The Acolyte. That's really nice to see. Speaking of horrible looking characters, these guys from the Star Wars prequels are back, and they look horrible, but at least their mouths do move in sync with the dialogue, unlike how they did in The Phantom Menace. Then we get a whole bunch of boring scenes in a snowy location with Osha, and I'm not going to really talk about those scenes as they're just that boring and forgettable. I can barely remember them when I watched the show yesterday. Final scene of the show is in this rocky location, and we hear this narration from this character who's got a really weird voice. He sounds like Darth Vader, but sick. Imagine Darth Vader, but sick. That's exactly what this guy sounds like. And then the camera moves up, and you get to see what this guy looks like. Dollar store Darth Vader. Now what is it with Star Wars villains? They keep ripping off Darth Vader. It's so lazy at this point. Just cut it out, please. It's so lazy. And so that's episode 1 of The Acolyte. A pretty terrible show. If you haven't watched this show already, do not. And I don't really even want to keep watching the show. But if you guys want me to watch this show, be sure to spread this video around, tell other people about it, subscribe to the channel. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'm the Grinning Critic, and don't forget to subscribe to me.